Welcome back to Live. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. You guys, if you are new to this channel, then let me be the first to introduce ourselves. I am KB.
Mz.T.
And we document our journey from homelessness to having the lot of life. Now, if you know anything about our channel, we used to live in our car, but now we no longer have our vehicle. We want to let you guys know that we are currently staying in a hotel. But you guys, we are safe. We are doing a lot better. And we just want to thank you guys for all the support and love and kindness that you guys have given us. Our last video previously went viral and we got a lot of positive support and a lot of positive comments from people, but we also got a lot of negative comments too. And I'm gonna pop up some of them comments in this video right now. All right, you guys, I don't know what is up with all the hate for the homeless. Like, people act like they really can't be in our situation. Like, other people not in this situation.
It could happen to anybody.
It could happen to anybody. And it don't matter what you look like, or you shouldn't judge other people for being in a certain predicament.
Or how many jobs you have, or what your income is.
So look, you guys, we decided that we're going to go ahead and use this as a learning opportunity to show people where this country could be headed and what could even happen to you. Okay? Now, we're not putting that on you because we people of God, but sometimes you got to show people the truth. All right, now before we get into these videos, we want to let you guys know that if you want to support our channel and you want to donate in any way, we're going to drop the Cash App at the beginning of this video, and we're also going to drop it at the end of the video. You guys can also go ahead and donate to our GoFundMe in the description box, and we also have a YouTube shop, a faith-based apparel brand just for you guys. Now, without further ado, let's get right into these videos. Period.
McDonald's, for the first time in history, is laying off thousands of workers. You know why? Because they now got the automatic machines. You seen the new McDonald's?
Yeah.
They don't need a person. You just order. So they're laying off tens of thousands. Amazon, they don't need workers because the AI, the computer can do it all. When you call to Amazon when you ain't get your package, it's all computerized. They laying off tens of thousands. Who else? Amazon, McDonald's,
I've seen a couple places
Facebook,
laying off a lot of people.
Meta, I think they all the big corporations are laying off tens of thousands of people, right? Let me draw a slavery analogy. Okay? Slavery or artificial intelligence, two completely different things, but I want y'all to see this. One of the reasons slavery had to end is because as long as black people could do the work for free, white people couldn't eat. The poor white man hated slavery because it stopped him from taking care of his family. Slave labor crushed the job market. Do you feel me? So slavery had to end because the white man got tired of being broke. He was going to rise up against the government.
But artificial intelligence is
doing the same thing.
Yes.
Artificial intelligence is putting people out of work. What happens when everybody's out of work and can't feed, clothe, or house their family? They're going to rise up against the government.
Craziness.
If capitalism doesn't watch it, this country will descend into chaos because white people are going to overthrow the government if too many of them go broke. The only thing keeping them from doing it right now is America keeps perpetuating this notion of a middle class.
He never lied. He never lied.
He definitely isn't lying.
Unless you are living under some kind of rock, then you should know that America is headed towards a recession and more likely a depression. So here is a list of monetary and non-monetary things that you can do to prepare for this crisis. You want to set aside a small amount of cash. Specifically, you want enough to be able to fill your gas tank and to feed yourself and your pet. Find your important documents and have them set aside in case of an emergency. In the instance that you need to leave and you need to leave quickly, You don't want to be scrambling around looking for your passport, your birth certificate, or your social security card. Please have these things safeguarded somewhere close to the exit of your home. Everyone's already been saying this, but please stop purchasing unnecessary items. And now this is a personal one. You can incorporate it if you'd like. No more makeup and learn how to do your own maintenance. This is not the time for that. And the reason for no more makeup is because I don't want to have to go purchase anymore. I will have the makeup if I'm going somewhere important, but for everyday occasions, there's just no reason to be wasting that product. Use this time to invest in your appearance, to take care of your skin, to work out, and to sleep so that you don't need the makeup. Whatever you've set your targeted emergency fund amount to be, double it. So if you've had 3 months, aim for 6. If you've had 6 months saved up, aim for 12. I know that might be difficult. Right now, you need to be focused on securing your housing, making sure that that's taken care of for at least a year, and being able to eat and transport yourself to and from work. I know that does not sound fun, but that is not our focus right now. Right now, your focus is being able to survive this economic crisis. Start the side hustle this year. There is not a better time to start than right now. So if you're someone that's already doing well, this will also be the perfect time to multiply what you already have. You need to be watching the stock market and the housing market, so as the prices of these things fall, you can go in, sweep, and acquire the assets for yourself. Now, what you choose to do will obviously depend on your goals, but this does not have to be a scary situation. It is alarming, but there are steps that you can take to ensure that you will be okay during this time.
Okay, she kind of lost me with the no makeup thing. Don't ban. I don't even wear makeup like that though. But that was still a little jarring.
No, she's speaking to a certain audience.
I mean, she for sure is, because makeup is expensive.
No, makeup is high. Like when we were doing Instacart, where we work. When we were doing Instacart, a lot of times we would go into Sephora or we'd go into Ulta. Them stores would be crowded. It would be lines of people. So I really almost think that she's talking to people, maybe that some of the younger generation that, where it's, it's into more cosmetic.
Spending like $40, $50, $100.
That stuff is like wildly expensive.
And if you get the whole set, honey, you're looking at $500,000. You're looking at $500,000 for everything it takes to give you a full face. But she definitely right on making sure you get your passports, your cards, and everything ready and have it by the door. I always be telling mommy, we need an emergency kit bag. Like, we got our little bag, we got our little homeless bag, but no, like we actually need, once we get housing, we actually need like one of those apocalypto bags.
Yeah. That's so funny.
Y'all know what type of bag I'm talking about.
God rest my son's soul, but
Brian. Y'all, he used to have Apocalypse magazine.
He would have like everything. He had all types of, like, he had a gas mask. Like, and we found the gas mask and we're like, what in God's green earth is this? But he was ready, like, years ago. And, for whatever was going to take place, like, he must have had some type of insight or some prophetic, like, vision or something.
Well, we millennials know. Like, we know. Yeah. We knew once we were born, like, this country was just...
it's just a lot.
Shout out to my millennials. Like, in the comments,
yes, y'all know. But, definitely she's on to something as far as, like, staying in preparedness. And really this is a time, for just kind of, like, learning to make sure that you have everything in place for such a time as this.
Yes. And we're getting our stuff in place now, y'all.
Absolutely.
So, y'all do the same. All right, next video.
We're not going to talk about food costs because I'll get sued for it. You see, I'm one of the many people that makes up the food supply chain, meaning I distribute the food and someone's got to know how much it is to sell to the grocery stores. A lot of us know a different food cost than you know, but we're not allowed to talk about it. So I'm going to try and say something that won't get me sued. You see, my company is happy to sell food to anyone who can buy it at the price that the grocery stores buy it from. It's just that most people don't want as much food as the grocery stores are buying. But if a bunch of people got together and decided that they wanted to call themselves a grocery store and they pooled money together for the products they were already buying, I and my little company would be happy to sell my product to anyone who has enough money to buy it by the case. I guess what I'm saying here is instead of looking at politicians and looking for lower prices, maybe we could get them immediately if we just started looking at each other. Much love and respect.
Now, I definitely agree with that. I think that there's been so much dependency on the government, and they know that, so they're going to use that dependency, for their advantage. If we're like, to their beck and call, and we're just waiting for you guys to tell us what to do. Like, at some point, we gotta like pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, use the wisdom that God has given us. Which He's given us wisdom. He's given us His word for those of us who are believers, and I pray that you are, because you definitely need to be attached to the Lord at this time. But He's given us everything, all of the tools that we need to walk out this life. Everything that pertains to life, He's already given us according to the word. But we do need to like kind of pull away from, and I think people are seeing this. And I think you and I were talking about, like, a lot of people are in for a rude awakening if they think that things are going to continue to go in the way that it has, because things are changing swiftly. Things are changing like really like every day. Like there's something that's changing in the economy. There's something that's changing in terms of the law. Definitely the government is just like, they wilding out right now. So at this particular juncture, it's just really good for you to try to tap in to the resources that you can. Just like this guy is saying, like, maybe we need to all like come together and figure things out.
We need community. And I think a lot of people don't, the hate that we're seeing, hate is like winning these days. Like, it's like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but the internet is more chaotic than ever before. And what does that mean? That means when people are in reality, are you going to see people the same way? Because the real world is what actually exists. And what he's saying is so true. Like, we literally need community. Like, y'all so used to going and buying groceries from a grocery store. What's going to happen when all of that stuff is closed down? You're going to have to barter with your neighbor. Like old times. Got peanut butter? Well, I got jelly. Well, okay then. Let's figure this out. If you're not willing to do that, you're going to get left behind. So it's all about love at this point. You're not in the community. I don't know what you're into.
Back in the day, like, neighbors used to borrow, and I'm old school, so neighbors used to borrow from each other. They would go up to their neighbor's door and be like, y'all got some sugar? Y'all got some sugar?
Some cornbread.
Y'all got some cornbread.
We had just needed cornbread.
We did.
Just a couple, two Thanksgivings ago.
Guess what? We got it from our neighbor.
We got it from our neighbor.
But but it is. And we need to like kind of pull together, and we can't do that if we're divided, of course. Like, and I think part of the thing that's dividing us is this whole class war of like the middle class, the upper middle class, the rich, the extremely rich, right? The poor. So because you have all of these class wars going on, which, by the way, the world is set up to accommodate that, and it actually like encourages that, so that we do stay divided, and then we all are looking down at each other and saying, oh well, that person doesn't have that, and that person doesn't have that. I don't need them. And it's really about the need, Thank you, Holy Spirit. It's about people feeling like they don't need other people. They're okay by themselves, and look where it's getting us.
Exactly. And the people who you do get your resources and your needs from, they actually are going out of business. And look, you're not going to be able to cry to these grocery stores. Go and cry. Why? Because they're going to be nowhere to be found. And the people who own them, they're going to be somewhere in their bunkers. Think about that.
Facts.
Next one.
Just let me know when I need to take my money out of the bank. Yeah, it's getting a little weird around here. I need to know that immediately. Let me know. I don't really give a fuck about none of that other shit. Let me know when the banks are about to start acting up and being like, well, we don't have the money. Yeah, you give us money, but like, we don't actually have that here. We use that for other things. No. Let me know when the fuck we need to all go and get our money out the fucking banks. Because it's really giving today right now, literally. And I'm really down to just go do that, because it's going to get to a point where they're like, well, we don't have any money here. We don't have any money here to give you. And I don't know if I'm going to be fucking with that. Because any systems go down and the banks start fucking with people's money, bitch, it's going to be the purge out here. It is. It is. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to see that. I don't know. So go ahead and let me know when the fuck we need to take our monies out the banks. Our coins out the banks. Because it's really giving immediately. Like, I'm not trying to put fear, but I'm just saying, like, bitch, this is getting out of hand. Yeah.
You ain't never lied.
What's so crazy about that is, like, there literally have been, like, prophets that have said, be careful with keeping, I mean, this is, like, when I tell you, like, years ago, like, not even just, like, last year or the year before that, like, years ago, prophets were like, be careful with the banks, you know, allow God to speak to you, to tell you when to remove, like, your money or when to, like, put it somewhere else. And people were like, also, I mean, that was one of the things that you and I had talked about at one time, like, is it better to have your money in a safe? I mean, like, what do you do? Like, and, you know, and years ago they were pushing, like, you know, have gold bars instead of cash, you know, because they've been trying to push get away from currency and cash for the longest, you know. Biblically, people are talking about we gonna be using our handprints and stuff, and be aware of that, and don't, you know, go for that, because, you know, it's a sign of beast and all the other stuff. But yeah, when he's talking about, like, not feeling secure, like, you know, because, you know, people have been talking about power outages too, and the possibility of that. So if you think about
what does that mean for the ATM?
Exactly. And then how would you, I mean, yeah, people are like, well, maybe you could just use tap. No, you're not going to be able to use tap or anything, because if the power is out, if there's a blackout, what are you going to be able to do? You can't exchange anything. Currency is an exchange, right?
Absolutely.
So then what do? So you would have to pay cash. And then at that point, then currency would be more valuable. See how everything would flip?
Exactly. And then they tell you, you know, if you do put your stuff in a safe or whatever, they tell you, well, I heard of people putting their money underground, like people like putting their money in the grass and like, you know, burying their money, which I heard is a bad idea, because after a while your money can like literally crumble because it's just paper. So, you know, that's very true, because I'm not messing with no banks. I'm not messing with no bank if I come to my bank and you tell me you don't have my money. So it's just like, I'm right with this man. Like, I don't want nothing I got in no bank. You know? I don't even trust these banks, because what that doesn't even make sense, to literally put your money, your hard-earned money, into a system who takes your money and puts it somewhere else.
Well, yeah.
Look at how much blind trust we get in this country, y'all.
They do use our money, but, you know, Big Mama and them, you know, they used to put their money.
Oh,
right here in the bra. You know, that's where they used to keep their coins. You know, it would be on their person. Well, no.
I need a little more.
No, that's gonna give you more.
I need a little more. Oh yeah, you're right. I'll just stuff it.
So you just stuff it in there.
That makes sense.
You know, but yeah, I'm feeling him.
Yeah.
Next video.
He making a lot of sense. Thank you, John Ridgway.
America is going to be the poorest country in the world starting now. You're going to see the biggest crashes happening right now. So that's good for me, because the price of gold and silver go up.
That's interesting, because most people in India until the last decade have been migrating to the US, thinking that is where is the land of opportunity, to pursue the great American dream. But over the last 2 years, we've seen an increasing number of people coming back in droves back to India, because that's where they're seeing the opportunity. So that is a very interesting shift that I never thought would happen so quickly in my lifetime.
Wow. That's all I gotta say is wow.
Yeah, really. I mean, I think that they said everything. I don't really think. I mean, it's true that the whole thing of the land of opportunity.
There's no more.
And then people for years and decades have been coming to this country hoping to make something, you know, for themselves.
The quote unquote greatest country in the world.
You know, and it's interesting that a lot of people that live here have not been able to do it. So it's funny that you have people coming from other countries that have this hope to do it.
Right.
But then
the people who live here,
the people who live here have struggled to see even like that dream come to fruition.
And the people who were taken here.
Yes. So, yeah.
You know, that part.
Next video.
We're not surprised. Okay. All right, we got a couple more videos together.
The stock market is projected to crash, followed by the economy. And you are not going to freak out. You're going to be ready. With the tariff wars, with the boycotts, if you needed another excuse to stop spending money, here's another one. I need all the girly pops that stop spending money at Target to have that money ready to invest once the market crashes. The 2008 stock market crash made so many people rich, and we're going to be one of them. If you have stocks, sell them now. And once they go down, buy. Also, sell everything that you don't need. There's going to be foreclosure homes and you need to have the money to buy. And maybe you don't even have the money for that. And that's fine. You still need to save your money because what if you lose your job? That's going to happen also. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs. If you're only making money from one place, you need to start looking for other ways to start making money. It's better to have multiple small sources of income than one big one. The internet is free. Start searching. I don't care. Do literally anything. The last thing you want to do is start selling ass. If you have other suggestions, leave them in the comments. We need to all share our resources and share our knowledge. Share this with everybody that needs to hear it. Market is projected.
Hey, she right, because you can't tax booty. So maybe you don't want to be selling booty.
All right.
But mommy, this is the perfect time for us to buy a house.
Yes. Well, if she's talking about like people going into foreclosure and all of this different things like... Yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, it's very sad because even now, like a lot of people are losing their jobs. I think we had talked about that too. Like, you know, these are not even just jobs that they just recently got. Like these people have been on jobs, they've been laid off of jobs where this has been like their career path. So this isn't just like any old job, you know. These are people who've been on jobs for many years and they've lost their job. And you know how, you know, I've been like laid off. I've actually been, I wasn't fired once, but I don't want to talk about it. But when you are laid off, you don't like really know like how to feel about that. You just like, it does feel like rejection, you know. It does feel like you have so many feelings and emotions, and then at the end of the day, then you're trying to pull yourself back up because like your bills don't stop just because you get laid off, right? And all of the expenses that you have. So it's just really interesting that we always need to have something else. And when I was coming up, we were always taught that that's all that you supposed to focus on. You know, my parents would, you know, their main thing was just focus on working and having jobs or a number of jobs or having a job till retirement. And now we're beginning to see that those things are not as stable as they were pushed to be. We are in a different time now, right? So there's more that we have to do to secure ourselves, and we definitely are seeing that than just having a job. Yes, back in the day, maybe that was all it took for you to have a security, but there is no job security right now like that anymore.
No, AI is taking all the jobs, period. And if you have a projection of the future, just know that that's what they want to happen. Mm-hmm. They want AI to take all the jobs. So all these people in the comments over here glorifying your job, just know that if you're an essential worker, then maybe you good for now. But all these service workers, but everything else, if it has to do with some type of computer punching or something like that, something that a computer can take over and do, you know, you're gonna have to find another trade, or be a trade, honey. Okay. Here we go.
In 2024, homelessness in the U.S. rose by 18.1%. Over 770,000 people were counted as homeless, but this number doesn't include those staying with family or friends, meaning that the true number is likely higher. This increase comes after a 12% rise in 2023 caused by high rent prices and the end of pandemic-era help. The rise in homelessness is linked to the growing housing crisis. Rent prices are going up, making it harder for everyday Americans to afford a place to live. Natural disasters like the Maui wildfires also left many people homeless. In addition, communities are increasingly taking a hardline stance against visible homelessness, with many enforcing camping bans. To make matters worse, the Supreme Court's 6-3 ruling last year that upheld such bans effectively criminalized homelessness. So they'll lock us up for being homeless, but won't push for policies that actually help. Do y'all hear that? I think that's the sound of the guillotine sharpening. Another big reason for the rise in homelessness is income inequality. Rising rents and stagnated wages are plaguing everyday Americans, with many living paycheck to paycheck. As the gap between the rich and the poor grows, more people can't afford housing. This is especially bad for families. Family homelessness has gone up nearly 40%, showing that the support systems for families are simply not enough. In 2024, nearly 150,000 children were homeless, a 33% rise from the year before. So while we see increased homelessness in 2024, the rich saw increase in record profits. There's something fundamentally wrong with this. No one should be homeless in the so-called richest country on earth. We need change now before it is too late. 2024, homelessness in the U.S. rose by 18.
You know what's so funny about that? You know what's so funny about what she's saying? It's like a lot of people are afraid of the word homeless. Like it's like a disease or something. Like people really just don't want to believe that homelessness has anything to do with a situation they could ever be involved in. But the facts that this lady is pushing right here, right now, she's telling you it's increasing. And it's only increasing because the country and the economy is on a decline. And we be trying to tell people in these comments, but everybody just swear up and down that homelessness is just due to you just being plain lazy. And that could be somebody's situation, but for the most part, it is not more than likely people are working who are ending up in this situation.
Yeah, there's so many, like if people could just do their research, I know sometimes people get stuck in their own thought process in their own mind, but if you just do some little simple research, you could like really just go on TikTok and just put like living in your car or homelessness with people who are working, and there are so many, and it's sad. There are so many people who work that are living in their car, and she pointed this out, and it's very important to point out that people cannot afford rent. So that whole thing
rent
about
is staggering. It's crazy prices.
It's crazy. The whole, and that's what they usually talk about. They like the reason why they don't have a home, or the reason why they may be staying in their car, or whatever the case may be, is because they can't afford rent anymore. Rent is this. It's staggering, and there's never been like any restraint or regulations put on the rising costs. Right?
People are spending their whole check, y'all, on rent. Yep. That means, where am I finna pay for this food? Where am I finna pay for my little fun activities that I want to do? Some of y'all not gonna be able to continue to do this little fun stuff that y'all used to be doing. A lot of people not even going out no more like they used to. Yeah. I don't even remember the last time we went out. No. And I was just thinking about that last night. Like, we've been going through it for so long, y'all. We have really not even done something entertaining in a really long time. And a lot of other people are in this situation too. Yeah. And we see so many people living in their cars. You guys have no idea. I want y'all to look around. Go outside the next time you go to the grocery store. Don't just think people just chilling and sitting down on their phone. A lot of these people are sleeping in their cars.
A lot of people are sleeping in their cars because they don't have any other choice. And by the way, these people work. So for people to say like, oh, well, all you need is a job and you wouldn't be in a situation, that is no longer the truth. It may have been the truth years ago, right? But it is not the truth today.
Get up to date, boo-boo.
Yeah. So these statistics, are man, I'm not like surprised, at all by the statistics. Like I said back in the day, like I was seeing a lot of people that were homeless, and I just didn't know why. You kind of like, man, like what happened? Like that this person is in this situation. But I would say what happened, not in terms of they did something wrong. I would say what happened, like I felt some type of way about the fact that they didn't have housing. And when we lose our compassion and we lose our empathy for people, and we become so judgmental, and we thumb in our nose and look looking down. We really need to check our heart's posture when that's the case. When that's your first go-to is to point your finger at people and tell them, well, you should have did this and you should have did that. You really need to check your heart's posture.
Yeah, because y'all really getting lost in the internet. And by y'all, I mean the people who really judge people who are dealing with circumstances that some people could never imagine. But the rest of y'all who got common sense, that's why y'all subscribe to us. And we know our subscribers have common sense and we love you guys. All right, our last and final video. Here we go, y'all.
Within a 5-minute time frame, 5 minutes, the United States Downs, the stocks, literally plunged 600, then 800, then 1,000 points in 5 minutes. I'm so not lying. Look, this was the title. The Downs dropped 600 points, right? Boom. The Downs plunged 800 points. Look at the time. Downs tumbles 1,000 points. 1,000. Look at the time. And I know what you guys are probably thinking. Like, the stocks have been plummeting. They've been doing bad. Like, this is no news. You are right. You are right. However, now, the US dollar index, which measures the dollar's strength against 6 foreign countries, has slumped to 0.9% and is at its lowest level in more than 3 years. And guess what? Donald Trump, who is probably the person who's behind all of this, considering that he has now incited this fucking tariff war, this trading war globally, he's over here pointing the finger at every motherfucking body except himself. See, a lot of us don't have any ties into stocks. We don't have any assets into stocks. So honestly, I'm not feeling what some of you millionaires and billionaires are feeling. However, almost all of us have a couple of US dollars, okay? And the value of that is diminishing rapidly. See, ever since 1971, when President Nixon took away the United States dollar from the gold standard, the value of the United States dollar is literally whatever you and I give it. It's make-believe, okay? It's literally make-believe. If tomorrow the entire world says that the United States dollar means nothing, it literally means nothing, okay? So the fact that now it has hit its lowest level in 3 years.
Hey, I just had to pause that because do y'all hear what she just said? This is all make-believe. It's what we make it. It's what they make it. Everybody is like idolizing the dollar. Y'all idolize money. Even this whole programming of gotta get to the bag or get money or die, or this whole ideology of, you know, making your whole life about getting cash when in reality it's all fake. Yeah. And y'all need to hop out the matrix, baby, because the matrix right now, that fourth wall, it's getting broken open. So y'all can really see what's been going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely. And it is what we make it. And it is devalued in the U.S. And that's why China has come together with some other countries to say, we see what's happening. See, China's seen this afar off. Y'all ain't giving the country of China enough credit. But they've seen this afar off. They'd be like,
they've been spying. They've been eyeing us.
The U.S. dollar is shrinking.
They've been knowing.
So hey, strategically they like, let's pounce, let's get with some other countries, let's see if we can get our own currency going, bada boom, bada bang. And that's exactly what's happening. And now, of course, we as the US citizens are seeing the effect of all of these things, right? And trust and know, when you go in the grocery store and you see that dollar ain't stretching, that dollar ain't stretching nowhere. Like that dollar is, when we go in and we see all of these items and they're like $8 and $9 and $10 and $14. I don't know how much is eggs.
Yo, them eggs is like $25,000. We went to go get some Vapor Rub and that Vapor Rub was $10. When Vapor Rub been 10? When grandma's fix for everything? When that been $10?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's amazing too that across the board, like no matter where you go, like even Aldi's is starting to get like higher. You know, I mean, yeah, you might be able to go to some mom and pop shops and little shops on the corners.
Check out the mom and pops.
Yeah, and get something for a little bit cheaper. You know, but at the end of the day, like, you know, we have to eat. And now let's, y'all gonna be fasting, which we all need to fast sometime.
We do.
But
some of y'all need to fast.
Yeah,
me too.
No. Okay, yeah, both of us.
Y'all do too? Okay, good.
But unless you're gonna be, fasting or laying off food, all of us need to eat. We have to eat to live, not live to eat, right? Something like that.
Yeah,
But
sometimes you can live to eat. I be living to eat too, y'all.
But it definitely isn't stretching the way that it used to stretch back in the day. And we are seeing that. So when she's talking about it's affecting, like everything is having an effect on the overall value of the dollar, like, yeah, it's definitely shrinking at this time. It's good.
Very true.
Its lowest level in 3 years, and we're facing a recession. There's a mass job shortage, all these problems that we're having, housing crisis, people can't even fucking afford groceries. Are you serious, Trump? And for you to literally try to point fingers at the head of hold on. You over here trying to point fingers at the Federal Reserve Chair, Jerome Powell, and say that he's the person that doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. It's you who incited these fucking trading wars. It's you. You and your dumbass tariffs. And you have the nerve to try to point the finger at other people. And the problem is, this shit is also hurting your little buddy. Your buddy over at Tesla. You're fucking up his company. Bro, take some accountability. I was hoping that when this stock market crashes, that I'd have a couple little dollars that I could invest. You understand? But now it's looking like the little dollars that I'm going to have might not even mean fucking anything. 5 minutes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I don't got no stocks. I don't know if y'all got stocks, but I one day want to have some stocks. And I'm like, okay, well, let me keep an eye out. Y'all, make sure you keep an eye out. Download you a little stock app and keep an eye out because, I could get something if it's like $1, $2. If it's $2, come on now. If it's like $2.50, I think we can start investing. Hopefully it get that low.
Yeah.
$3, I could do that.
Absolutely. I think this really is a time what all of these videos I think are teaching us is, one, we have to obviously prepare. Then we also have to hold back from doing extensive more spending than we are saving and kind of conserving a little bit, the story of Joseph will show you that because there was a famine in the land and he literally told the Pharaoh, look, you need to hold back on doing all of this extra stuff for 7 years because you're gonna need to utilize the resources that you have when this famine hits. And that's the same thing. All of this is trying to tell us is to prepare for, you hate to say the worst, but yeah, prepare for things getting worse or getting in a worse position than they are right now, so that you're not oh my God, what am I gonna do? I don't have anything, to show for myself, and then things are just in the toilet. So
one more video though.
Oh, we got one more?
We're gonna do one more.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. We're gonna do that one. Let me see if we can do this one.
Probably gonna make some people mad, but I don't feel like 90% of us make enough money to even worry about the economy crashing. Everybody is like, the stock market's gonna crash, share prices are going down, and I'm like, I never got a share in the first place. The housing market is plummeting. Maybe I'll finally be able to afford one. I want to be in a tariff tax bracket to where I can actually care. The rate we're going, no one's ever going to be able to afford a new car. I've not been able to do that anyway.
That's what we've been trying to why people be acting so brand new, like they ain't never had money trouble ever in their life. We've been over here. Do you know how long we wanted a home of our own?
Why does it sound like the Wizard of Oz?
We've never had a home of our own.
Dorothy said.
We never. Oh, she did say that.
She did want a home so bad.
Y'all, we've never. We like Dorothy. We never had a home of our own. We've rented out a home before, but our dream has been to have our own home, and that has been something that we have always wanted, and we've never had it because things have always been a place of struggling. And look, why am I trying to sugarcoat it? Niggas been broke, okay? Niggas been broke for a very long time, and we've been trying to find a way to stack our coin. And it's like, wait a second. You over here comparing yourself to this rich person. Meanwhile, it's more people who are living like we have been living, like this person has been living, like millions of other people. We have more in common with those people than we would the rich man. Yet everybody just want to be rich. Do you realize if somebody's extremely freaking rich, that means that somebody has to be poor? Sometimes we don't be thinking about this type of stuff.
I told you, it's like the class wars, though. People are comfortable keeping people on certain classes and statures in life and levels in life so that they can have something to compare to. Like, if we was all on the same level, then wouldn't nobody be envious? Wouldn't nobody be jealous? Wouldn't nobody be trying to scrape, and scrapple to get to the top? It would take away all of the competition. But no, we gotta have that's the darkness of the world, is for us all to be like trying to figure out how we can one up each other so that we can be on top. Well, you got 10 cars, I got 15.
Exactly.
You got 3 houses, but guess what? I got like 20 houses, and
with
I got all
bedrooms.
of this land, and I got, apartment
Acres
buildings galore, right?
I got that new Louis
right.
V. I got that new Berlin. I got that new Birkin. Apparently that Birkenstock just went down. That Birkenstock just went down.
Yeah. So it's just a big comparison, and it's a way for people to pop their collars, and it's a way for people to flex, and make themselves, because it's insecurity, it makes themselves feel better about being in a world when they can feel like they really have something to show for it. But let me tell you something. You can have all of those things and your heart be depleted. You can have all of those things and not have like value in the kingdom, and I have value in this world because of the posture of your heart. So we want.
And they always say that money cannot make you happy. And some people say that money can make you happy if it fixes money problems.
Yeah, money magnifies that.
I believe that money can fix a lot of things. Trust and know. But they're absolutely right. Money cannot make you happy. And we've been programmed to believe that if we are rich, then we'll be finally be satisfied. And I think what's happening right now in this country is that whole ideology is being broken in half. And we're being able to see that actually the things that really truly matter is community. The things that truly matter is people coming together and building from amongst
and
themselves,
helping one another,
and not going to the bigger man, the rich man, or the people who are on Wall Street and trusting them with your money and trusting them to lead you, because a lot of times we've heard it time and time again. They're scavengers. A lot of them. Yeah, they'll give you some money, but they'll also take from you and make sure you can't never make none again. So right now, I think you guys, we have to remember that we are the ones that we need to be leaning on at this time in this country. We are the ones that have to come together and make sure that whatever this country is about to go through, that we have one another to help us get through it. Because I feel like, man, all of this internet, all of this technology, all of this AI stuff, we're getting so pulled and dragged into it that we're forgetting that the only reason our life on this earth matters is because other people exist in it.
Oh, absolutely. And the Bible says that the love of money is the root of all evil. And we can see that, with, a lot of the 1%ers and a lot of the things that they're doing and implementing in this earth, that they just don't care, and we don't want to never find ourselves in a position of not caring. Whenever Jesus would heal somebody, it said in the Bible that he was moved with compassion. That means that he was moved because he cared about that person's condition and he wanted to see a change. And when we get away from that, that we don't care about people, we don't care about their situation, we don't care about what they're going through, we don't care that they're having a difficulty. All we think about is ourselves and what we do and what we're standing on and what we've always done, and we're not showing and implementing that empathy. That is a very sad place for your heart to be in. So we all have to do a heart check. I think I asked the Lord to check my heart you know, about a couple of days ago, because I just was like, Lord, just check my heart, because I don't never want to be found in a dark place, thinking about things that and acting upon things that I shouldn't be acting upon. But yeah,
and treating other people
yeah,
like they don't
right,
matter.
you know, whether they're homeless, whether they're your family members, whether they're on some type of substance abuse, whether they out here in the streets, runaways, whatever the case may be, you know, whether they don't have money, or whether they, you know, whether they're not in a certain stature in life that you may be in, you know, that is no reason to mistreat people. You know, treat people like you want to be treated. You know, if you were in a particular situation, and you found yourself in a situation, would you want somebody to say some of the things that you've said to other people? Would you want somebody to consider you? Would you want somebody to be empathetic towards your situation? Would you simply want somebody to pray for you? You know, so we have to really consider those things. We can't be so like you know, high and mighty in our thinking, that we think that we know everything. We really need to humble ourselves, and that's all of us. So these have been some great videos.
Yes, y'all, this is actually fun. I'm glad that we like tried this out. Y'all, let us know in the comments if you guys want us to do more of this type of content and reaction type videos. We're going to do our best to bring you more of this and continue to keep you guys updated on our personal journey from homelessness to having the lot of life. And we want to thank you for tuning in. And of course, you guys come back and check us out in our next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, y'all.